What would you do if a loved one came home and told you that the entire family had to relocate to a place that takes you away from everything you know and everyone you loved? Or vice versa. What if a friend told you that they're moving far away? They're moving away to another country. Or maybe it's a sibling who's leaving home for the first time to get married. How well do you adapt to changes? In this particular episode, we're going to be talking about resilience and how to deal with change. Let's dive in. Welcome to Work It, Live It, Own It, a show that explores how to upgrade your lifestyle through life lessons, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Here's your hostess, SaCola Lair. So listen, guys, in those scenarios, it's happened. It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you. As a matter of fact, today, as I'm talking to you, a friend of mine, a cherished loved one, moved far away to another country. And they're so excited about this opportunity. They're so happy. They're young and they've always wanted to travel and go to different places. And this is an opportunity of a lifetime for them. And although I'm very happy for them, it does make me sad because they're not going to be 20 minutes away right up the street. And you know what? It's okay because I look at it this way. It's another place to go and visit. So listen, first thing that we have to do is we have to focus on our thoughts. When we're feeling sad about a change, the reality is we have to deal in facts. And the fact is that change is inevitable. Most of us thrive on a routine, while change, whether it's good or bad, can rattle us to the core. It shakes up our comfort zone. And some changes that first seem to be bad might even turn out to be beneficial. Change, it can also be stressful, especially external changes that just add to the stress. And here's another reason. When adults face a change, they can refer to their personal book of experience. So we can look at how we've dealt with similar situations in the past. But you know what? When it comes to younger people, they have less history to draw on. So sometimes we as adults may think that this may be really hard on the kids. They're not used to change. Well, you know what? It's because they have less of a frame of reference. So they're more resilient. They can bounce back a little quicker and they may be able to handle change a lot better than adults because we have so many more experiences to draw on. But here's the reality. We can learn to adapt. Here's some things that I think about. Resilience is the ability to recover from a misfortune or adjust to change. That's how I like to define resilience. And when I think of a resilient person, it's a person who not only endures a new circumstance, but also looks at a seeming obstacle and see an opportunity in it. When I work with teenagers, because I'm an educator at heart, when I work with teenagers, especially resilient teenagers, they're less likely to turn to drugs, alcohol when they feel overwhelmed. And a lot of our teens today are succumbing to those things because they don't know how to deal with pressure. They don't know how to live with life changes, especially coming through the pandemic. We're seeing more and more teenagers, even more adults now, turning to these vices because they feel overwhelmed. And I don't like to say that I'm overwhelmed because, again, that's a thought. And that's the first thing that I hear is the words coming out of my mouth. So the first thing that I do is I have to accept reality. No doubt, when you like to have total control in your life, like most of us do, because we say, hey, it's my life, and we want to have more say over it. But that's simply not possible. We can't have control over everything. Our friends will move away. They'll get married. Siblings will grow up and leave home. Circumstances may force your family to move. Leaving behind friends and family and everything that's familiar can be tough. And my husband and I did this a few years ago. We had a goal. We set a goal. The opportunity arose. We left everything that we knew behind. And the reality is that it's better to accept that reality than to let negative thoughts overwhelm you. Again, yes, I'm focusing on thought patterns because it is important. Our brains tend to lean towards things that are negative versus the positive things. But here's something that can help not only me, but also you. And that's to look ahead. Focusing on the past is like driving on a highway with your eyes fixed on the rearview mirror. Now, you can occasionally glance back because it's beneficial, but you really need to concentrate on the road ahead. So think of it this way. You're driving in a car. The rearview mirror is a small mirror, right? It's good to look back to see your growth, to see how far you've come. But you have a great big windshield ahead of you. And that windshield is bigger than that rearview mirror because there's so many different opportunities ahead of you. It helps you to see what's going on in your lane and what you could potentially be facing. And so the same is true when you're confronted with change. You try to keep your eyes fixed on the future, but you use your past as a frame of reference. So for example, you could focus on what goals you can set for the next month or even the next 6 months. And I even love the illustration of a tree. A tree can bend with the wind, is more likely to survive a storm. And like that tree, we can learn to bend with changes over time, which we have little or no control over. But what happens to a tree that doesn't bend when strong wind occurs? It snaps. It breaks. So we want to be like a tree that bends with change. And so focus on the positive. Resilience is all about a state of mind. It's all about attitude. Find the positive aspects of a circumstance you're currently in, and you will continue to thrive. All right, my beautiful friends. I hope you enjoyed this particular episode of this podcast. And if you haven't already, make sure that you do subscribe to this podcast so you can stay in the know when I upload a new episode. And don't forget to leave comments below and let me know how you deal with change, how you become more resilient in your everyday life. And as always, don't forget to work it, live it, own it. Take care.